Hello, I'm Amy, and welcome to Books and Life, where I talk about books and their influence on my life. Today we're going to talk about a big subject for me, and it may be a big subject for you. I love to read. I'm also very busy. I work lots of hours outside the home. I also work inside the home, taking care of my home, and I love to read. How do I find time to do all of it? Well, I've been really exploring this recently because for a long time I knew that I wanted to start a YouTube channel to talk about books, and I thought, how am I going to do this if I don't have time to read as much as I want to? So I've been trying to examine how can I get more reading into my life. I'd like to demonstrate that by sharing with you things that I've tried that have worked. I'd like to start with a strategy that I never thought would work for me, and that is to read books on my phone. Here's why that's weird for me. I have always owned a Kindle, and I'm kind of in between Kindles right now. My beloved 2013 Kindle has recently finally given up the ghost. I kept trying to nurse it along. I even bought a new Kindle to replace it. Didn't like it as much as the old one, couldn't make it work in my life the way the old one did. Gave it to a family member. Went back, bought a new battery for the Kindle, put it in, it didn't help. So it's basically a brick sitting on my desk. It makes me sad. So I was like, what am I gonna do? I would like to try. When I go on my phone, I'm gonna have a book called up already on my Kindle app, and another book called up on my Libby app. If you're in the United States, you may be familiar with Libby. Libby is a program that works with libraries so that you can check out books as ebooks and you can read them. I have discovered that when I pick up my phone, which is such a habit for me, I realized I've had a phone for like 30 years at this point that I just carry around in my pocket. And the habit of picking it up is a habit of more than half my life. Well, close to half my life now. And so when I pick up my phone and I open it up, right here in my palm, what I'm seeing is one Kindle book, in this case, The Shattering Piece by John Scalzi. And in the Libby app, I'm seeing the latest Seanan McGuire Encrypted series book. Stay tuned because I'm going to talk more about both of those authors. They're sort of all-time favorites of mine, and I'm going to talk about why I love them both. So, reading on your phone. I really never thought it would work for me, but here we are. Next, and I don't think this gets talked about nearly enough on YouTube or any place else that we absorb book content online. Reread books you already know you enjoy. I have a couple of series of books, one in particular by Donna Andrews. It's a cozy mystery series. Again, stay tuned. I'll be talking more about Donna Andrews and how much I love her books. I can reread or re-listen to one of her books over and over and over. Some of them I have probably read more than 10 times. Whenever a day is bad, but I want to read something, I go to a comfort read, something that I really enjoy. Another author who I reread constantly is the late Charlotte MacLeod. She has two series that I really, really love. One is about Detective Peter Shandy, and the other is the Sarah Kelling and Max Bitterson series. I love them both. I actually own them on my Kindle, and I read them all the time. Why do I do this? First of all, because if I like the book, I might just want to read it again. And sometimes I have to wait a little while so I sort of forget enough of the plot that I'm not super anticipating what's coming next. But in the case of my longtime favorites, I really enjoy going back to those plot points, those beats in the story that I know are coming. It can be comforting after a chaotic day or a chaotic week at work to go back to a place that you already know. I just love a comfort read that comes from my own catalog of favorites. Now, related to all of this is reading the next book in a favorite series. I mentioned The Shattering Piece by John Scalzi and also the latest encrypted novel from Seanan McGuire, and those are, for me, the next novel in favorite series. I have read all of Seanan McGuire's encrypted series, and all I want Seanan McGuire to do is keep writing books. That's it. I used to follow her on Instagram, and she would talk about her favorite hobbies, and I would be like, stop having hobbies, write more books. Whenever Seanan McGuire comes out with a new book, I want to just sit down and read it cover to cover. And that's an exciting thing because I think it's good for books to really claim our focus, especially in a world where so many things claim our focus little bits at a time. It's just lovely to have a book to sink into. When it comes to the world of John Scalzi's Old Man's War series, I have reread many of those books many times. I've loved them so much, and I am so enjoying reading The Shattering Piece. I'm about halfway through right now. I will give a rating and a review. So far, I'm loving it just as much as I love all of his stuff. The next book in the series can be a reliable way to combine getting new books and also something that you already know in some way. Try it out if you haven't. I also like to get more books into my life by listening to audiobooks. The main place where I get audiobooks is from my library, again using the Libby app, and I just listen to the audiobook straight in the Libby app. I can also get audiobooks through Audible. That's a worldwide service. And some of the authors that I really enjoy publish their audiobooks outside of Audible, which makes them a little bit difficult to find. And so I'll purchase them straight from the author. One example of this is the author Cory Doctorow. If you have heard the term enshittification recently, he's the one who invented it, who coined it. I believe Cory won some kind of award for that word a couple of years ago, and he is either in the process of writing or has just finished writing a book about enshittification. I will be listening to it on audiobook. I can listen to audiobooks while I'm doing chores, while I'm cleaning the house, while I'm cooking, while I'm going for a walk, when I'm driving in the car, anytime where something else is going on that I want to put a little bit of focus into, but I'd like to have something going on in the back of my mind. This is another place where sometimes I like to go back and listen to an audiobook version of a book I've already read. So I'm basically familiar with the plot. But that way I can have a sense of what's going on. So if suddenly I gotta really focus on chopping the onions so I don't cut my finger off, I can dip out of the story a little bit and then come back to it and still understand what is happening. My favorite audiobook readers, I'll tell you right now, Will Wheaton, love everything that he does, and X.E. Sands, it's spelled X.E. is her first name, Sands, as in like the sands of the ocean. Anything that she reads, I am just so immersed that it's almost hard to do the chores that I need to do. Beautiful, wonderful audiobook readers. I also really enjoy listening to Bernadette Dunn. She reads Donna Andrews' mystery series that I've been reading and listening to for years, and it's always such a comfort to hear her voice again. So try listening to audiobooks. If you love them, tell me some that you love, and who's your favorite audiobook narrator? One of the things that I have found most useful is to connect to my library to get books. And I use Libby because Libby is the app that my library uses to provide me with ebooks that I can check out and with audiobooks that I can check out. Your library may have a service using Libby or some other thing, depending on where you are in the world. That's one of the things that really helps me get a lot more reading done in a way that I really enjoy. So try checking a book out directly on your library's app and reading it or listening to it. Try putting one on hold and try even asking if they can buy it. I have been asking for more Spanish language books at my local library, for instance, because I speak and read Spanish, and I would like to read more Spanish novels. There are a few, but not as many as I think that there should be for my personal interest, so I'm asking for more. Please notify me when you buy this one. Notify me when you buy that one. If this is a super obvious solution for you because you've been doing it for years, give yourself a little pat on the back and tell me what's your favorite thing that you've ever checked out, if you can remember it, using your library's app. If this is new for you, I would encourage you to even pause this video and go on your library's website and find their app, download it, and start checking out books today. Last but certainly not least, find a book that's new to you that you find absorbing. I usually find new books that I think are going to be absorbing by watching YouTubers who talk about books and hearing what they say about them, and I'm hoping to contribute to that conversation over the course of this channel. I also find them by reading articles, blog articles, reviews. Here's a recent really quirky one that I think made a bit of a splash in the United States, but it originated in France, and it's called, if I remember correctly, Room 622. And it has a story within a story within a story, like those little dolls where every time you open it up, there's another one that's a little bit smaller, and it just keeps going and going and going. And it's not till the very end that you come to understand what is the core of what has happened in this story. I loved it because, for me, the main feel, even though it was set mostly in the present day, was like Europe in the 1970s, seen as like a sort of a grainy movie with everybody having strange sunglasses and interesting hats and living very odd little lives. I enjoyed it a whole lot. There are people who loved this book, there are people who absolutely hated it, and both for good reasons. I just loved the fact that it took me into a world, and then it took me into another world, and then it took me into another world, and then we finally, at the very end, got where we actually were. And I was like, oh, that's what we've been doing all this time. Oh. It was astonishing to me. I loved it. Another series that completely absorbed me a couple years ago, and I want to get back to it as soon as possible, was Fonda Lee's series, Jade War, Jade Legacy, and the third one. I can't remember the name of all of them. They were fantastic. I loved them so much. There was a couple of points where this is when my Kindle was working, I actually just threw it down because the plot point had twisted and then twisted again and then twisted again. She took me on such a ride, I didn't want to do anything but read those books. So a new book that's new to you, that you know you're going to find absorbing, give it a go. I hope that me sharing with you a little bit about how I've started to be able to read more, even though I do a whole lot of things with my time that aren't reading, I hope this helps you a bit. I hope it affirms what you're already doing, and I hope maybe it gives you a couple of ideas. Comment below about what you're doing to get more reading into your life, and what books you're reading that you really enjoy right now. What do you recommend that I read? Thank you so much for being here. I really appreciate the warm welcome that you have given me to YouTube and to this channel. It's so great to see all of you. Let's keep the conversation going and let's grow together. Thank you so much, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.